Now at 5, a judge denying bond to this former Bojangles manager accused of murdering a father of an employee. Atlanta News First, Yasmina Alston is live at the Fulton County Courthouse with the details on what happened in court today. Yasmina?
Well, Maurice Evans was denied bond despite his attorney arguing he acted in self-defense, but the state argued he shot the victim multiple times. A former Bojangles manager was denied bond as his case heads to a grand jury. Maurice Evans is charged with murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a weapon in the commission of a felony, accused of shooting Dominique Goodman 8 times in the parking lot of a Palmetto Bojangles. 3 of those shots were in the back. Goodman's daughter worked there, and he went to check on her after learning that she had an argument with Evans. Prior to the bond hearing, a Palmetto police detective testified about the investigation, saying, per witnesses, Evans claimed Goodman swiped at him a few times during their interaction.
That they were having words. Who did she describe were having the words?
It was the defendant and Goodman.
And what kind of words were they exchanging?
What is who's trying to fight my daughter, or who's messing with my daughter?
The defense asked for a downgraded voluntary manslaughter charge for claims of self-defense, but the judge said the 3 shots to the back were a factor in deciding against that.
She said she heard 2, and then she turns, and then she heard 5 total is what she said. She's turning, and Mr. Evans is outside of the vehicle as she's trying to run towards Mr. Goodman's aid, and stated that she saw Mr. Evans standing over Mr. Goodman and shot him 3 additional times.
During the bond hearing on Tuesday afternoon, Goodman's uncle spoke on his nephew's character in his request to deny bond. He called Goodman the peacekeeper of the family.
He never caused harm to anybody, never got in fights in school, never got in fights at his job.
And families for both Evans and Goodman were in the courtroom today for that bond hearing. Live at the Fulton County Courthouse, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.